My name is Elias, and when I was 28 years old, I died for exactly 3 minutes and 40 seconds. I did not expect to see hell. What I expected, if I am honest, was nothing at all. At that point in my life, I was angry at the world, careless with my soul, and convinced that whatever came after death could not be worse than the life I was already living. I was wrong. And the reason I was sent back is the reason I am speaking now. I did not grow up believing I was evil. I was not a murderer, not a thief, not a man people whispered about in fear. I paid my bills when I could. I spoke politely when it suited me. I smiled for photographs. From the outside, my life looked ordinary, even respectable. But inside, something had been rotting for years. I carried resentment like a second spine. I blamed everyone, my parents, my upbringing, my failed relationships, God Himself, for the way my life had turned out. I spoke forgiveness with my mouth and practiced bitterness in my heart. I justified lies because they were convenient. I excused cruelty because I was wounded. And when guilt came knocking, I drowned it in distraction. I told myself I had time. Time to change. Time to make things right. Time to take my soul seriously. I was wrong about that too. The night my heart stopped was unremarkable. No thunder. No warning dream. No sudden revelation. I collapsed in my apartment after days of exhaustion and quiet despair. A silent failure inside my chest, like a switch being turned off. There was no pain when it happened. Just a sensation of falling inward, as if the center of me had been pulled through a narrow door. I remember thinking, so this is it. And then I crossed a boundary I was never meant to cross. At first, there was darkness, but not the kind you experience with closed eyes. This darkness was aware of me. It pressed against my thoughts, thick and heavy, like wet soil packed around my body. I tried to breathe and realized breathing no longer mattered. Time did not behave normally. I could not tell if seconds or centuries were passing. And then, without warning, the darkness peeled back. I was standing. Not on ground, within it. The air was thick, dim, and bruised with a reddish gloom that had no visible source. There was no sky, no horizon, only an endless depth stretching outward and downward. The place did not welcome me. It did not threaten me either. It simply recognized me. That was the first terror. Hell did not need to announce itself. I knew where I was. People imagine fire everywhere, demons screaming, pitchforks and torture devices. There was fire, but not as punishment. It burned slowly in vast, distant rivers, giving off a dull glow, like dying embers that never went out. The heat was not on my skin. It was inside my memories. Every regret I had ever buried began to surface, one by one, not as thoughts but as living scenes. Moments I had dismissed as small sins returned with unbearable clarity. Words I spoke carelessly replayed with the pain they caused fully intact. Faces of people I had wounded looked at me, not in anger, but in quiet disappointment. That was worse. I tried to look away, but there was nowhere else to look. And then I heard the sounds. Not screams, at least not at first. It was a low, constant murmur, like a crowd sobbing behind walls too thick to break through. A chorus of voices layered together, each one carrying a private despair. Some begged. Some cursed. Some repeated the same sentence over and over again, as if hoping repetition might undo it. I understood then that hell was not chaos. It was order without mercy. As I moved, though I do not remember deciding to move, the environment shifted around me. Corridors formed from shadow and stone, opening and closing as if responding to my presence. I passed others, or perhaps passed through them. Their forms were distorted, not monstrous, but diminished. Like reflections stretched too thin. No one spoke to me. No one needed to. Each soul was locked inside the full weight of what they had become. I felt something watching me. Not stalking. Not hunting. Observing. The way a judge watches a defendant who already knows the verdict. That was when the voice spoke. Not loud. Not angry. Clear. Look carefully. The words did not echo. They settled into me, heavy and final. You will return. I turned, desperate to see who had spoken, but there was no figure. No throne. No shape to point at and name. The voice was everywhere and nowhere, woven into the space itself. Return? I asked, though I did not remember having a mouth. You have not finished choosing, the voice said. But you have seen where your choices lead. And then I was shown more. I was taken, not carried, not dragged, but placed into a region deeper than the first. The atmosphere grew heavier, the red glow darker, almost suffocating. Here, the suffering was sharper. More focused. I saw a man reliving the same betrayal endlessly, each time believing the outcome might change, each time realizing too late that it never would. I saw a woman clutching a memory of love she had rejected in life, now unable to let it go, replaying it until it tore her apart. These were not punishments assigned from outside. They were self-built prisons. That realization broke something in me. I wanted to scream that I understood. That I was sorry. That I would change. But hell does not respond to promises made too late. The voice returned, quieter now. Many arrive here believing they were not so bad. I felt my excuses dissolve. You measured yourself against others, the voice continued. You did not measure yourself against truth. I thought of every moment I had silenced my conscience. Every time I chose comfort over integrity. Every time I knew better and did worse. I fell. Not physically, but inwardly. A collapse of self-importance, of defense, of denial. I understood then that hell was not about fire. It was about full awareness without escape. And I could not survive it. That was when everything began to pull away from me. The landscape tore like fabric under strain. The voices faded into a single, distant cry. The pressure lifted violently, as if I were being forced back through the same narrow door I had fallen through before. The last thing I heard before leaving was the voice, firm and sorrowful. Warn them. And then pain returned. Air exploded into my lungs. My chest burned. My body convulsed as if dragged back into itself against its will. Hands pressed on me. Voices shouted. A machine beeped somewhere close. I was alive. When my eyes opened, the world looked unbearably fragile. Colors were too sharp. Sounds too loud. I wept without knowing why, clutching the sheets like they were the only solid thing left. I did not tell anyone what I had seen at first. Who would believe me? But the hell followed me back. Not as visions, but as memory. Every day afterward, I carried the weight of it. The clarity. The understanding that I had stood on the edge of something permanent. That I had been given time I did not deserve. Sleep became difficult. Silence became unbearable. I could not distract myself the way I used to. The old justifications no longer worked. Every selfish thought felt exposed. Every cruel impulse felt loud. I had been warned. And warnings demand response. I am not telling you this to frighten you. I am telling you because I learned something there that I cannot unlearn. We are not dragged into ruin all at once. We walk there slowly, choice by choice, telling ourselves the ground beneath us is still safe. Hell is not reserved for the dramatic villains of history. It is built quietly, patiently, by ordinary people who believe time is on their side. I believe that. If you are listening to this and feeling a discomfort you cannot name, do not ignore it. That unease is not fear. It is recognition. You do not need to die to change direction. I did, and I barely came back. I was sent back with a warning. And now, so are you.